David Knight for Infowars.com, and of course the top trending thing on Twitter now, and of course the very top of the Drudge Report is our article about the spirit cooking email that came out of John Podesta's emails. This is something that broke last evening. When you look at this, what they're doing is they're writing creepy stuff on the wall in blood and menstrual fluid and semen and breast milk. That is supposedly art. And when I looked up this woman, Marina Abramovich, of course there was a video there from Lady Gaga, and somebody asked her, do you know Marina? Oh, I love her stuff. Okay, confirmed, she's a Satanist, okay? But this is the kind of creepy stuff that she says passes for art. No, this is simply the occult. This is simply Satanism. This is an obsession with the same type of stuff that we see over and over again. And of course, when we look at Twitter, there's some other interesting things that have come out here. Look at this picture here. People said this is in 3 different emails that he's putting out this picture here, 14 written on one hand and a fish on the other hand. Now, this is not a Christian fish, folks. Somebody said, well, you know, fish is a symbol of Christianity. No, that's not the way they do the Christian fish. If you haven't noticed it on the back of cars and things like that, ad infinitum. But as some people saying, is he fishing for 14-year-olds? What does that mean? And then, of course, when you look at some of the other things that have come out on Twitter, people are talking about a lot of the coding that was in some of these emails in terms of, let's scroll this down here. People talking about the symbolism that may be involved in the talk about pizza and hot dogs and sauce. Hot dogs, is that a boy? Or pizza's girls? They're talking about arranging flights that are like $65,000 to go to Chicago to pick up some pizza and hot dogs. Really? Seriously? Is that legit? Or is that code word for some kind of deep pedophile operation? What we have to understand here is that there is a deep moral decay throughout the Clinton campaign. It's not just the corruption, okay? The corruption is right there in your face, and many people don't want to see that. Many people don't want to pay any attention to this obvious corruption. And of course, it was shut down at the top. It's what Steve Pachinik said earlier this week. You had a network, a web of cronies at the top that were covering for Hillary Clinton, still are, at the State Department. That's a solid group of people who are covering for Hillary. But there is a division in the FBI. In the FBI, the people who were doing the investigation, we had honest people in the FBI. I don't know if there's anybody in the State Department that we can trust, but we can trust people in the FBI. There was a mutiny there. I was concerned when I first saw this. I thought, because Comey has worked so long in so many different ways for the Clintons, a lot of people say, hey, he's a Republican. No, he has worked with and for the Clintons for a very long time. But I think what's happened is the people lower down, as I've heard other people say, there's hundreds, more than 100 letters of resignation that were offered to him. People were saying, we're going to resign, we're going to go public with this. And of course, the number 2 guy who was investigating this did resign, and Giacalone, and he retired, and he was replaced with Andrew McCabe, who is involved with Terry McAuliffe, who himself is going to be investigated as part of this corruption. And here we are. If you've seen The Mentalist, this is what this reminds me of. Right here, she's doing the circle here. If you've seen The Mentalist, where there's a serial killer who, over the murder crimes, draws a smiley face in blood with a kind of a twisted smiley face, that's what this reminds me of. This is not art, folks. This is perversion. These people, there's some pictures of them with in some of these leaks here, some of these tweets. Here we go. Look at this one right here. This is what a spirit dinner typically looks like.
Lady Gaga.
Yeah, Lady Gaga right there. This is very perverted stuff. This is the Clinton inner circle. This is what you're getting with Hillary Clinton. It's not just the overt corruption and crime, the paying for play, the bribery that is involved there, the setting the world on fire with wars, creating ISIS, overthrowing regimes. As I was coming in this morning, there was an NPR report. I'm going to talk about this in the 4th hour. I stopped when I was surfing the channels because they were in Raleigh, Durham, where I used to live, and people were talking about their conflicts on how they're going to vote. And of course, there was a Christian couple there, and they said, well, we normally vote Republicans because we're pro-life, but I'm kind of worried about Trump because I make my money as a copyright lawyer. So he liked the TPP and other things. So they were looking for a way that they could morally and ethically justify or rationalize their voting for Hillary. You can't do that. Look at this stuff. Look at the crime. Look at the corruption. Join us today. We're going to be talking about this. Alex Jones is going to be talking a lot about this, believe me. On the Real Alex Jones Show, I'll be talking about in more depth what I heard on NPR about North Carolina in the 4th hour. David Knight for Infowars.com. Truly sick.